Hey, welcome back. I totally failed yesterday. I did not, didn't find a way to get an episode out or really do much. I actually did get some work done, and so that was great. It just, I feel like I let myself down a little bit by just not getting a show out. I did, and today I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm just anchoring in that one thing and not overcomplicating my thinking about, it's like when I try to do too much given my circumstances and then end up doing nothing in a sense. So, yesterday was a complicated day. My 17-year-old ended up here and on Sunday, and it's a really complicated and crazy story, which I'm gonna share and talk a bit about today. But first, I want to actually pat myself on the back. I managed to get my real estate license, and I was really worried about it. And it took a lot of work to get through the test and pass the test, and I'll figure all this stuff out, apply for the license and everything. And I've had challenges with child support, and I pay always whatever I can, and it's just my financial situation has not matched what the court assumes, and so I was worried that some of those issues would affect my license, but I managed it got through. I think that the courts and other things sort of understand what's going on there, so they haven't there was a time when they penalized me, but I felt like as long as I'm just paying as much as I can. So just to go back to this, I ended up I sold a business, a software development business almost 10 years ago for enough money to live really comfortably for 5 years. And if I had gone down a certain, there's different paths it could have evolved, but a lot of the reason that I exited the business was my life circumstances were just unmanageable in the context of running the business, and the financial situation just completely, it was just burned through all the money, kind of too many kids, divorce, family, stuff. And so in 5 years, which is it took me 2 years to go from being set, to the filing of divorce to getting the actual divorce because of COVID. So by the time I got there, I literally was this is the last of my money. But the court's looking back and say, hey, you made, pretty good money for all this period of time. And most of that was business payout. And just, it was arranged through a kind of call it an earn out over time. And so, it kind of looked a little like income. And, if I knew then what I know now, when I have tried to communicate this a lot better, whatever it was, I mean, it was insane going through this whole process, completely life destructive experiences. But anyway, so I feel like I'm kind of starting to come up the other side of that, that hill. There's a saying that I remember from supposedly Abraham Lincoln said, to his wife, something, when you realize you're digging yourself into a hole, the first thing you got to do is just stop digging, right? And then you go. And I felt like no matter how hard I tried, I kept digging deeper, and gradually, just a little bit, maybe it starts to turn around, and then you're like, wow, okay, things are coming back. I've been able to invest in myself, and that's created, efficiencies, and I've been, kind of reimagining and reinventing myself in ways that work better with the circumstances of my life, and just finally getting some stability, creating all kinds of things that were just not going to happen over the they were the bright possibility or opportunity just wasn't there for many years to do much. So and then today I'm featuring IVA, which is an awesome business brokerage in the Pacific Northwest. So hopefully I'll be able to work out with them, or if it's I think it's an exciting opportunity to be able to sell businesses, and that's why I pursued the real estate license. But if it's not a fit or whatever, you have to go and look and. After you get your license, you have to go affiliate with the firm. So I'm you can start interviewing with them, but I don't want to get locked in completely. I think it's a really good company from what I've learned, and I do hope it works out to represent them and go out and I just as somebody who's been through like building and selling a business, I really feel like a connection to business owners who want to exit, and they want somebody that's going to give them like a real honest perspective. And I've just seen so much that I've evaluated many dozens of businesses, been involved in easily a half a dozen different transactions so far, and I'm super excited. I also feel like there's this huge wave of baby boomer businesses and exits that need to be handled with care and with the best intentions of owners who want to make sure they get value out of their business, but also I think a lot of them have to understand what's going to be realistic and what's get the best value they can. So anyway, something I'm super excited about, and just wanted to hey, this is awesome. I applied and came back right away. I mean, I had to go through I had to get fingerprinted and do all this stuff. So anyway, I will say that you're never too old to learn and take on something new and do a new evolution. And this feels like a big step for me to create, just all the process it went through for me to be I really want to get my real estate license, starting to book out, hey, what does this mean? Where do I want to be? What do I want to shape the next, 10, 20 years of my life into? So yeah, no, this is awesome. I'm excited for myself on this one. Usually don't get into a lot of personal stuff like this. So anyway, I did want to talk about sort of this other part of it, which is more of a serious topic, and something that's been a huge challenge for me. So I think there's a lot of other businessmen, guys working hard just to keep, whether it's business or just career stuff, just trying to keep everything in front of you and dealing with a really messed up, crazy, super complicated, relationship situation. So yeah, anyway, I have 5 kids, and their mom is angry at me to that degree, and I didn't do anything to cheat or do anything. I just was I can't afford to continue to fund this insane lifestyle that, do I take responsibility for allowing it to get there and kind of knowing that it was probably going to crash into a wall? Yes. Is there ways that looking back on it that I could have prevented this or made different decisions or other things? I'm sure, yeah, of course, but but also that's the whole hindsight's 20/20, right? So I'm here, this is my experience, and I got to go through this just insane, divorce and custody process where my kids are constantly being manipulated, held at ransom against me, and I'm constantly being accused. I have 40,000 pages probably of text trashing me and making this all my fault and all of these things. And the circumstances ended up, through COVID and just getting, the timing. I would say I ended up with a judge that is very pro-mother. She just, my ex-wife, just straight up lies to the court. She was supposed to have a social worker, essentially go evaluate her, and she manipulated the situation so it didn't happen. Was supposed to bring the kids to testify, only brought my oldest daughter, who was actually pretty fair in her assessment, but is definitely, loves her mom and very pro-mom. So, It's insane, right? And I got to be honest with you, like the bias that exists now, like sometimes that's true, right? That like, and there is a truth to, like, I have a different kind of relationship with my kids, but to try to pretend like I don't want to have them, don't see them a lot, or that I don't care about them, or that all these is just completely not true. It doesn't reflect the relationship with my kids at all. And fortunately, I would say I've been kind of a digital nomad, my business, my life, and so I've stayed like really connected, to my kids digitally, even though I don't necessarily see them, physically as much as I would like to, and oftentimes for extended periods, just because of the circumstances. So I'm in Washington now. She's in Nevada, and my ex-wife will do anything she can to like prevent me from seeing the kids. Like it's like, she doesn't prevent communication. She just like, even going anywhere, like going to Reno would be like hostile. It would be like going into the middle of a war zone. Like the police are going to get called on me, whatever. Something's good. It's just not like, it's insane. I had to leave, right? I had to leave town because it was just completely dysfunctional. So, if you're a dad, you're with, dealing with your kids, you may be seeing this, or in just lighter ways, right? Absolutely like constant false allegations. Like she's stated to the court like over and over again that I abused her. The court's like, no findings, but the court doesn't like hold her accountable for saying that over and over again, right? Alienation I talked about, this is like really interesting. And I've run this like a few times. And sorry, I'm going kind of up the top. So the left across the top. And if you look, it says a father's cross claim of alienation against a mother's abuse allegation doubles her risk of losing custody. So this is really interesting. So if I claim that she's alienating me, then by claiming abuse, then, and this is really interesting because I have a court date on Thursday. Like I'm still in the middle of this. No, years, it's constant. Her mom is making this statement of like that she's abused, and so she's trying to put the kids into like, this is like serious. And I don't know if she's gonna do it. I don't know. She's trying to say that she was abused, and therefore that they need to go into like protected housing where I'm not allowed to know where they're at. And it's like great. This is the kind of stuff, right? I'm like, she was not abused. Okay, she says she was financially abused, which means I didn't give her the money that she wanted. And yes, I have not been able to meet my child support and alimony obligations from the court because they were impossible on day one. I mean, I literally have borrowed hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, the financial train wreck of this is just absurd. So you get to a point where you say, look, I can only do what I can do to protect myself, build a foundation. And yeah, I want to go out and make a bunch of money, but it's like, you can't manufacture success just because you want it. You have to have the space, you have to take the time, there's all these real things that have to happen. It's really, really difficult to succeed when you're just getting bombarded constantly by, worrying about your kids, or like, it's just one crisis after another. Literally, it's like every 6 months, 1 out of every 6 months is dealing with some kind of crisis, and it's super hard to get going. But I started feeling that I feel like I've got some pieces in place to help, some anchors here. So where I'm at today is way better than a few years ago. So yeah, these are some good tips on the bottom. Documenting. I mean, I do. I mean, the amount of evidence is insane in my case, but it is, it's really difficult to put together a case, and it's really expensive. I think especially when it comes to family court, and it could be different state by state, but in my experience, if you don't have a lot of money, you're really kind of screwed here. It's like, and it's crazy, right? Like, I mean, honestly, I've learned a ton. Like the last filing and the court hearing I have coming up, I put it together myself. Now I got lots of help and advice, but I actually I was like, I got to like put together this stuff on pleading paper, and you've got to fill out this form and do the request for submission. But if you can get help and learn how to do this, you'll save a huge amount of money. Because you can pay tens of thousands of dollars just to get like a motion filed, and you'll realize, oh, that's like nothing. The kinds of money you could throw at this situation, you start to realize like the court system in this that's only one thing that that's only one thing. It makes lawyers money, and that's it. There's no situation where this is really like an efficient review. Why? You can't even file things with the court unless you have like a huge amount of just an understanding of these forms, the right tools, and they're super hard to work with, right? Like, there's no simple, affordable, easy ways to do this that I've found. And when you have to do it yourself, you're spending okay, I have spent days just figuring out how, what kind of motion am I supposed to put in, and it's insane, right? So, yes, build your case, do that. I hate to say it, but if I had spent way more money up front, I probably would have saved money in the long run. And that's just reality. If you're like, yeah, on the way out, don't try to spend $5,000 on a crappy attorney hoping to get, if you have a complicated situation, plan for 50 or whatever and get it right. And then you probably are off on it, and it can vary. If you think that you're, if you've got, real money on the table and you have access to it now, you might not have access to it later. So, if you can spend a little bit, to chunk out and protect that, I mean, to be honest, that would be probably one of my biggest, learnings. I should have planned for a lot more money up front to go into the legal side of things. Actually, there was, Marilyn York. She's like a Nevada attorney, and she was she's like a men's attorney, right? And so I did contact her, and it was like $10,000 to do the divorce, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not spending 10 grand right now. I'm this was when I still had money coming in, but I was still tapped, but I was worried, and maybe it would have cost me 30 or 40 with her, but I would have saved 200 on the back end probably. So, a lot. And so, I didn't think about it that way at the time. And so actually what happened is my ex-wife went and managed to retain her, the men's attorney. She convinced, there was this whole crazy, the divorce, she actually filed for divorce, right? So, because I moved out and then she filed. And she went and got that Marilyn York because she probably figured, well, I'm going to get the men's attorney and give this whole story. Right? I'm sure it was a whole, you can see, if you look at the actual, filing, it's craziness. She's her demands are just insane, right? And but she must have told us, I'm sure she told us, oh, he makes all this money and he won't give it to me, and he just treats me it was just a whole story, right? And is it is there a kernel of, is it completely made up? No, but it's such a stretch that you're people, to be honest with you, women or men who are adept at telling these kind of stories or sucking people into things like this, they're really good at it, and people buy into it. I'm sorry to say, but my ex-wife is super smart. She's not somebody who, is actually just a futz around. She's, but the things that she's smart and skilled at, unfortunately, are things that, are mostly around sort of gaslighting people and creating this impression of things that aren't really there and real, and so that's a skill she has, and she's going to use that, right? So anyway, focusing on the best interest of the kids, of course, always, right? And this is really, really tough when your partner's trying to say that, and then you know, my kids love me, but they also, they love their mom, right? They don't realize that, you know, like, you know, living in a hotel isn't a sustainable situation, or like destroying houses and all these great things. And I'm just like, okay, but I can only do so much, right? You know, but I definitely am always there for them, communicating with them. You know, this is a given, right? So anyway, I hope this is helpful. I think probably at some point when I get a little more feet under my belt, I'm going to try to start some kind of, you know, I went out and looked for groups to help people like this, and they're really inauthentic. They're also just money grabs. It's like, why, when you're trying to take care of your kids, is everything you find out in the world just a money grab? All the attorneys, everybody just wants to grab money around this. I'm sorry to say, but that's kind of almost the truth. Like, there's very few people that are in this that actually care. You know, oh, you can go get Judge Anthony's program. You can buy this. You can join my group and pay money to get help. You know, and it's like, geez, you know, maybe it's an idea to start something. Anyway, awesome. Thanks everybody for joining today. And I'm going to go ahead and wind this one down.